Hi, I'm Christine Smalley, founder of Echelage, a jewellery designer and educator, and these video tutorials are a result of me making jewellery for over 3 decades. I first started making jewellery as a child when I was 8 years old, and for the last 13 years I have been working full-time as a jewellery designer and teacher of jewellery making under the banner of Echelage, which is a French word and it means to adorn. You may have come across my first series of DVDs more than 10 years ago, which were sold nationally in Australia in stores such as Lincraft, Big W, and you could even loan them from your local library. So now with the latest video tutorials, you can basically pick and choose. So whether you want to focus more on learning a technique or whether you want to be inspired in design, the choice is yours. The tutorials are not as polished as the DVDs more than 10 years ago, but my aim is to offer them more regularly, and they're produced in my Inner West studio, so you'll get a sense of behind the scenes as well. So whether you're a DIY crafter, a jewellery designer, or you just love wearing jewellery, you've come to the right place. My DVDs offer you to make better jewellery and to be a better maker. So some videos will feature step-by-step tutorials and others will be a visual feast of inspiration. Either way, they will give you some really amazing professional tips. And today I'm actually going to show you how to use your leftover beads and chains to make this beautiful eclectic necklace. You could say green beading, and who doesn't have a box of odd beads and broken chains? And this is a great example of not only just using kind of your odd beads, but also really thinking about creating texture in your work. And I'll show you how you can do that through the choice of different finishes, such as transparent, which doesn't have to be boring, and opaque finishes, which don't have to be dull, because when combined together they make a really interesting mix of texture. You can also combine different shapes, and that will give you a really amazing eclectic piece. I also focus on how to come up with a colour palette, and this is a glimpse of the colour palette and inspiration to help you come up with some sort of colour theme for your individual project. And if you're in Sydney or Melbourne, why don't you join us at one of the craft or bead shows? If you would like to join a workshop, jump online at etalage.com to see our latest schedules, and we also offer amazing themed hens parties and craft afternoons. If you're an avid beader like myself, chances are you have accumulated a lot of odd beads and leftover chains. So I've got the perfect project for you today, creating an eclectic and colourful necklace that will use all of your odd bits and pieces. The first thing I did was to be inspired by my colour choice. I have grabbed a really beautiful artwork of pastels with a little bit of bright, and I probably wouldn't have thought of putting together pea green with aqua, for example. So here is my colour choice. So all odd beads, none of them are the same. Some of them are transparent, some of them are opalino and opaque, sparkly in the diamante, and we've also got smooth surfaces and faceted surfaces of the crystals. I've got a selection of chains, and I've cut the chains in lengths of about 5 to 10 centimeters. And again, having different lengths add texture and interest. And to put it all together, we need to use eye pins. Eye pins are pre-cut lengths of metal. They have a loop at one end. We'll thread the bead on and we'll form a loop at the other end. So the loops at either end allow us to join in both directions to create our necklace. So why don't we get started? I need to use my round nose pliers to create the links. And I'm choosing a length that suits the beads that I select. So initially I'll start with some of the smaller beads. So I've selected here a couple of crystals and a check glass melon. Threading it on. And with my pliers, create a loop. So we're creating a loop with the plier end and the wire end touching at the same point. So we'll make several of these. Now this one here I'm putting on a longer pin, but you'll still see there's a lot of excess wire. So we need approximately 1 centimetre to create the link. Anything more than that is going to look quite large and clumsy. So cut the excess off. I'm just using my eye because I've been making jewellery for a long time, but you might like to measure it first just to make sure that the bead and the links are consistent. So I'm not closing the links, and that will allow us then to attach it to the chains. So make all of your links up first. So again, there's a little bit too much wire here, so I'm cutting the excess off and forming a loop. Love this diamante ball. So thread the pin through. Again, just a little bit that we need to take off, and then create the loop. Once we have created all of our bead links, we can then plan our passion and then attach the chains. So I'm just going to move my inspiration. And I have already pre-linked some, so I'll take that dish away. Working with colour is a lot of fun, but it also can be really confusing. So I like to start with one colour first. We don't want the colours opposite one another. We want them on a slight angle. So if we zigzag the colour down the design, we'll put our pinks in, and then our yellow accent and our diamante. So that's kind of how the necklace will look, and then we'll fill it in with these chain links. Once we're happy with our passion and we've got a mixture of texture and a mixture of size in our chains, then we can actually start linking it up. So the way that we link it up is to use our round nose plier, and the open link we attach to the last link of the chain, and then just close it with our round nose pliers. So go around and do it to each one. When we've finished the necklace, it will look something like this. It's beautiful, isn't it? And it's so easy to make. I hope I've inspired you to create and also to use all of your leftover beads and charms.